You know, I used to avoid incomplete fanfics all the time. Mainly because I hated the idea of getting into a story and watching it never finish or ever complete. But as I've gotten into comics, I realized that comic books have also had this tendency to get started and sometimes never finish. Or leave plot points dangling, or sometimes even a book that you think deserves to continue will never end, will ends unexpectedly and it hurts. Shoot, Firestorm of all things. I mean, we all know him now, but his book only lasted 12 issues and then it went gone. I figure I shouldn't avoid these incomplete fanfics because, well, it's better to actually have read them at least once in a while so that way we can tell a good story. Much like this one. As much as it annoys me that this is never going to be completed, I am glad to have read it. I am glad to have seen the ideas played out, and I'm glad to see the story. That way, we can actually see and understand and maybe figure out what maybe some of the plans were. That's why I also do those segments at the end. So that way, I can say what I think. Okay, enough of the philosophy and being sullen. Let's continue. Legend of Mare-Do-Well by JD2K. Chapter 13. Voice of Justice. Mare-Do-Well stood still. There was nothing she could do. No time for a fancy getaway or quick escape. Captain Halberd stood triumphantly over her.
How about we stop this right now? It's time for you to locate and Mare-Do-Well. Or do you prefer to be called Miss?
He sneered as he lowered his head down. It caught a flap of a cough between his teeth. He pulled up with one swift motion that knocked her hat off her head, and exposed her face to the lukewarm air of the setting sun. All ponies present nearly gasped. Pinkie! Hey, Pinkie Pie! The shout from the energetic Rainbow Dash was more than enough to make the pink earth pony come back to her senses. Her eyes darted around as she saw all her friends, employers, Spike, looking at her with confused looks. Are you all right, Sugar Cube? Y'all were paralyzed like you lay a bad pants of apple sauce, said Applejack with a hint of concern. Pinkie Pie merely giggled and huffed like the Ah, come on, Iggy. Why are you telling me to take any food, anything? Except for liquid rainbow says. Phew! That stuff was hotter than hot. It was super mega hot, and I can handle a lot of spicy stuff. It runs my family. My pa was the first to actually eat an entire Palermo Peril pepper whole, and good to tell it. Can you imagine it? An entire Palermo Peril! It took me 10 tries of eating me a slice of it before I could stomach an entire pepper like he did. Well, he sadly does know red poets and burrows who live in the South Colonial Desert. Know her hot stuff? Say, is there Las Pegasus close by? Oh, I always wanted to go to Applewood and see all the Phoenix actors. Oh, and maybe also visit Universal Studios, or even... As he went on, everyone relaxed their stares and went back to having fun. Seeing them finally avert their gazes, Piggy stopped her rambling and looked at the ground with a hit of solemnity. What was that she saw? Was this a vision of Halbert exposing Mare-Do-Well and masking her in front of all of Ponyville real? She had learned to trust her pinky sense with all her body combos, helping her out in the field of battles Mare-Do-Well. But this was the first time she had a vision. So you had to analyze that more carefully and take the proper precautions to make sure nothing had come to pass. Still, she was there to have fun. The brisk walk back to Ponyville after her dismissal from the hospital felt good, as she breathed in the fresh air along the path. Then she gulped. She finally remembered to stay her room was left in during her period of mourning, and dreaded the massive cleanup regimen she was going to have to do to get back to a pristine form. Instead, she arrived at Secret Cube Corner. She had found her room spotless, without a single dust pony in sight. In addition, her room was decorated with balloons and streamers as her friends, Cakes, and Spike were there to welcome her back, throw a pony in her honor. After one full minute of joyful tears flowing from her eyes like a fountain spout, she was quickly back in her peppy mood, and the party got underway. Then she had a vision a couple of hours later, and the merriment ceased for that 1 second. Your attention, everybody. The purple unicorn began, as he levitated a batch of flashcards right next to her and began to read. As you are all no doubt aware, this party was made not just a celebration of the return of our beloved friend and wonderful party pony Pinkie Pie, but also the return of a very important member of our community. She then slipped on to the next card. Being trusted among friends and loved ones who would do anything to maintain their secret identity. A loud knock at Pinkie Pie's door made the unicorn jump, as her cue cards fell to the floor. Fluttershy gulped, seeing this happen, and quickly went to the door. Unfastened the small latch and opened it up. The diffuser-colored head of Bud Cake appeared, as he looked very worried. I'm sorry to interrupt the party, but Uncle Carrot, Aunt Cup, the nervous niece managed to utter out. Yes, dear. What is it? Is something troubling you? The kindly Baker Mayor replied with a comforting voice. It says that we ran out of berry truffle, and some patrons are asking when the next batch will be made. But Violet said with a nervous rubbing of her forehead. Mr. Cake nodded. Yeah, that tends to get sold out as soon as we make it. Tell them we get started on some more tomorrow. Okay, Sugar Cookie? The part-timer nodded as he closed the door. Twilight again levitated her card to resume. As I was saying, this is also a special occasion where we thank a special hero, and not just the hearts and ponies of all Ponyville, but also that very Another loud knock broke the student's concentration as the cards fell to the floor. She grumbled even louder as Mr. Cake opened the door. Again, Bud was standing there. Sorry to bother you again, but there's no more fondant for the anniversary cake friend to order from Bargain Bargains. What should I do? She asked timidly. Mrs. Cake poked her head forward. Oh, don't worry, dear. There's still be some leftover royal icing for the wedding cake we made yesterday in the fridge somewhere. Go ahead and use that. Mr. Ritz won't mind too much. Bud nodded and dove back outside. After closing the door, the purple unicorn sighed. Well, I guess I can continue with my spades! She snapped as the front of her mane began to get disheveled, and her eyes shot daggers towards the door again as the bespectacled filly appeared once more. Sorry again. Is it okay if I operate the coffee maker? Mary May thinks she wants something, but I don't know how to operate it. Rainbow Dash grunted as she faced up. But you tell that featherbrain that Rainbow Dash says if she oversleeps one more time after being up all night due to caffeine, I'm personally assigning her to weather control partner with Derpy for an entire season! Buckcake gulped and softly moved her head out as the door closed. Twilight didn't move an inch as he stared silently at the door. The silence in the room was thick, and no pony dared to make a sound as the unicorn's eyes stared with intent at the door. Minutes passed as she finally relaxed as he levitated her cards once more. Well then, I guess I can resume. Bud opened the door once more and her head appeared. Oh, and I nearly forgot. We ran out of luster dust for the Golden Gates control and ink! Nearby shrieked as he saw a stack of cards lobbing straight at her with a magenta aura behind it. As he quickly closed the door, as the cards hit, it dispersed themselves all over the foot of an entrance. Of all the inconsiderate, no good, but success-aggressing! Twilight grumbled to herself as she stormed out to the corner of the room to cool down, as the others laughed for a few minutes. Mrs. Cake walked up to Pinkie, as did everyone else. I believe what Twilight is trying to say just now, is that we're all really proud of you. To think our own sister Baker and Potty Planner is the great Mare-Do-Well. He is so special, not just to us, but all Ponyville too. Pinkie Pie smiled sheepishly. Aw, Mrs. Pink, I only do this because I make people smile. Seeing every pony makes me feel all very fuzzy and nice on the inside, like a warm cup of cocoa. Cocoa. Every pony chuckled at their friend and worker. However, a smile quickly faded as he looked down at her forehead, which made them all go silent. I just sorry wish I could actually tell every pony how I feel. I mean, I can't speak while being her. It's so sad. Actually, Twilight finally snapped out of her funk as he walked over to her. Rarity and I managed to fix that problem. At that, all five of her friends smiled in unison. Sugar Cube, what Twilight gone and done is so that she ain't Princess Student her friend Nathan. I mean, I was a completely different pony. Applejack remarked. I was, a bit scared to hear that voice. Fluttershy replied with a blush. You and me both. Even I was surprised when I first heard it, Spike chimed in. Of course, that would not do without a complete overhaul of the entire outfit. After you tore off that faithful knight, I knew I had to work much harder to create a masterpiece worthy of the House of Vanity. Oh, you saw your bravery inspired me, darling. Pinkie Pie gasped as she realized Rarity was right. That moment when her grief went into crackle. She tore off what remained of her Mare-Do-Well outfit. Obviously, she needed a new suit, and it appeared that Twilight Applejack and Fluttershy mentioned, whatever it was, came along with the new outfit. Curiosity began to build up in her. Go to your closet, Pinkie. That's where we stored it for you, Mrs. Cake explained. We couldn't just figure out how or where you hide them, so we placed them in there. Not to worry. No pony has them except us and your friends. The pink pony gulped as he softly padded to the sliding doors that led to her closet. Her friends and employers stood in opposite rows as he led to her doors. She pushed them apart with shaking hooves, and her heart nearly skipped a beat. On a brand new pony Quinn was the brand new Mare-Do-Well outfit. The purple one-piece bodysuit with the high collar now sported pieces of dark blue patches around the chest, hindquarters, and flanks, both on the front and hind legs, and even on all four fetlocks. Never in life had she seen such elaborate barding on such a magnificent scale. She rubbed her hoof on the barding in front of the chest, and felt it very similar to leather. Seeing as though it came from Rarity, there was obviously more to this than meets the eyes. She tries to hold back a tear on the same piece of barding that was the familiar bright blue monogram as seen on the brooch of the cape. Speaking of which, the cape was still the same dark blue and connected to the cloth mask with bright blue eyes. This time, however, Pinkie managed to see a near invisible patch of barding that covered the entire upper head region. Down the middle of the forehead, and just stopping near the edge of the muzzle. This relieved her greatly, seeing as he no longer had to worry about getting hit on the head too much, considering it was near invisible, and managed to keep the outline of the shapely pony head without making anyone suspect she now had protection there. Around the back was a brand new utility belt with various pouches and a beautiful buckle with the M monogram in the middle that could be shown clearly as she ever reared up. As always, it wasn't flashy looking, but it was practical, just how she wanted it. The four sets of dark blue hoof wraps were now attached to a hoof of a new outfit, but now seemed to have the ability to be tightened or loosened as he saw fit, courtesy of a chest strap of leather and cloth Rarity had added to the outfit. The final piece was a broad-brimmed hat placed on the head of the pony Quinn. Not the same as before, as he figured it for a best. With a history of losing hats easily, it was best for Rarity to keep a stockpile of them in an emergency. She turned around slowly as her friends and benefactors were waiting for her reaction.
Every pony, this is wonderful. Thank you so very much.
She did get it. Everybody one of her reality-defying group hugs and embraced him lovingly. The few ponies tried not to make sense of this and merely hugged her back. Once he released him, she went inside the closet and turned on the light bulb inside. She got her hind legs, now easier to balance herself on them thanks to her training in Nipponese martial arts. She also felt glad that the muscles finally strengthened enough during the exercise therapy Dr. Stable recommended for her recovery. As she remained standing on her hind legs, she reached up into the closet's interior from the sliding doors, slid her hoof around until she found a hidden panel button, tucked away from prying eyes, and pressed it. A soft creaking noise was heard as one of the side walls of the closet moved away to reveal a dark opening. When the secret compartment opened, Pinkie resumed pushing the pony Quinn inside, much to the wonder of her guests. When she stepped inside, the wall closed up behind her, and left no trace of the contrary of its hidden location. A few minutes passed, and the wall opened up again. Only this time, a more mysterious form stepped out. The purple bodysuit hugging every corner of her body as the patches of barding were placed in the exact patches to protect the body. The tight dark blue hoof rest tucked in was protected them from all immediate harm. Her purple cape was smooth as silk pressed against her body in the lack of a breeze, held in place by a brooch with a blue M at the front. An elaborate belt with small pouches going around the midsection, tied snugly around the body. A cloth head mask that covered her entire face and snout left two large clear blue eyes, looking with firmness at the room around her. A large stylish hat rested softly on her head, as is both a symbol and a distraction if need arose. Mysterious Mare-Do-Well finally returned. The small crowd of friends and guests began to stop softly on the floor, whereas the baby dragon softly clapped his hands, as he marveled at the sight of their heroine. She looked at them and lowered her head as though she was ashamed.
Now, here's a surprise. I'm sorry as you slipped a mask on. You felt something in your throat, right? Twice sparkled as she moved forward. Mare-Do-Well tapped her left front hoof to her cheek and finally nodded. Speak. Go ahead. Break the rule. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Twilight nodded, responded with a sweet smile. Mare-Do-Well frowned. Breaking one of the rules? No, she couldn't. It would ruin the magic. Ruin the mystique that was the mysterious Mare-Do-Well. It wouldn't be right. Or would it? With an air gulp and deep breaths, Mare-Do-Well opened her mouth within her mask. I am... She gasped. That was not the bright, peppy, girlish voice that Pinkie Pie talked with. It was the voice of a proper mare. It reflected strength, power, and emotion. It was the voice of a great leader, the voice of justice, the voice of bravery, early. Is this my voice? Mare-Do-Well spoke with a hint of wonder. The purple unicorn beside her nodded. Okay, how many people want to say that this girl's voice, that her Mare-Do-Well's superheroine voice, is Andrea Liverman's normal speaking voice? Ever since you mentioned it back in the hospital, you felt it difficult to speak. I made my personal mission to give Mare-Do-Well her voice. I studied tones and everything related to voice modulation and implants. I came up with the same unique voice I heard from your currents when we were all inside your mind. I then implanted that voice into the cloth mask, so every pony who would wear it would speak with that special voice. Any ponies, fillies, colts, even bucks. That voice would come out as you and currently you now have. Now you'll never be scared of speaking and worry that Pinkie's voice will be heard. Mare-Do-Well has finally her voice. The masked vigilante lowered her head. Twilight's smile turned to a sad one, wondering what was wrong. Everyone around them softly approaching them, also worried. Finally, they all saw Mare-Do-Well's body tremble slightly. She raised her head up again, and every point could see the forming of damp spots on the lower half of the bright blue eyes in the mask. I can finally talk! She looked at Twilight, and the purple unicorn could. She could see the smile deep inside the mask of the graceful heroine. Mare-Do-Well approached her and gave her a soft nuzzle over her back, which Twilight accepted with gratitude. She lifted her head and looked at everyone in the room. I thank you, Miss Sparkle. I thank you for giving me such a wonderful gift. You have managed to free that last jungle of doubt I had, and no longer have to fear speaking to my fellow ponies of justice. Also with this voice I shall strike fear and terror into the roots of evil, and the hearts of criminals everywhere, as I crush them under my hooves. I am now complete. I am finally here. I am the Mysterious Mare-Do-Well. Before she could speak any further, the telltale jolt climbed across her back, and everyone watched her hop a few feet off the ground. The second she landed on her host, she looked down with a mysterious gaze. It's time to go to work. Everyone near her nodded in unison, all except one who bit her lip nervously. Mare-Do-Well approached the open window, only to feel a fierce hurricane. Made her head step backwards towards the hindrance. First, I sunk her heaved into the cape, as she didn't want her to leave. Wait, was it for... The yellow Pegasus implored, only to let her go.
Well, you were just in the hospital and supposed too soon to do this. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to tell you what to do.
Mare-Do-Well managed her cold frown, and the yellow Pegasus squeaked once more. She tucked her head and held on the ball. She could feel the majestic mare approach her and begin to whimper. She didn't feel a comforting hug on her shoulder and mustn't let her look up. The cold air stare was gone, replaced by a much softer gaze as my calm mask could muster. Dearest Fluttershy, you always look out for me. Mare-Do-Well spoke with tenderness. You have all ponies to know I value your advice greatly. She looked to the side, she looked to the window. But I've rested far too long, and I am needed, and I had to get to work. You must understand, don't you? The timid pony immediately knocked her head and gave her a comforting gauze. Satisfied, Mare-Do-Well made her way back to the window and turned around to face her guests. Violet looked at the rest of the elements and gave a single nod, with each returned the same gesture. Pinkie, Mare-Do-Well, we won't stop you, but we understand. The undercurrent protege stated, This is your first time back since the incident, so be careful. With those words, the 5 fillies slowly walked out the door, with Twilight picking up all the scattered cards at once, raised them a pile and placed them in their saddlebags on the way out. Mr. and Mrs. Cake were the only ones left.
See, Twilight took the words out of my mouth, Sweetie Pie. Not to worry. It's not bad that you went to sleep early. Just try not to get yourself too hot, please.
The blue mare kindly replied as she and her mate started to walk out. Mr. Cake popped his back head and gave her a warm smile. Go get him, Lollipop! With those words, the door closed. Mare-Do-Well walked towards the open window and stopped to look at the scene. The moon bathed in town a soft glow overhead as several streetlights flickered around in the distance while ponies were milling about enjoying the nightlife. She placed her hoof over her heart and stared silently below for a few seconds as her eyes closed in silent prayer. For the ponies of Ponyville, for her friends and loved ones, for Gummy. Bending her legs, she took a tremendous leap out into the open window and landed on a roof nearby. Tuning in her pinky sense, she headed towards the source of the disturbance. In any normal night, the exterior of the dance club would be filled with ponies in a single file waiting to enter after being checked by the bouncer. Once they were allowed in, the thumping music and beats, spun by the resident DJ Pone 3, the cover light shows from the magic-imbued strobe lights, and the well-stocked bar with various refreshments like salt, juices, some more of the hard liquids satisfy the energetic patrons looking for a good time. This was not one of those nights. Mare-Do-Well didn't need to see the various ponies outside with visible injuries, walking around in a daze or simply unconscious to know something was not right at the dance club. It looked more like a war zone. Ambulance carts were placed in positions out of danger, as emergency pony crews tended to the injured patrons, passers-by, while other vehicles were already en route to the hospital to treat the far more critical patients. Meanwhile, the police unicorns and exterior earth pony officers were in the middle of doing, either by magic or strength, a large group of clubgoers who were currently resisting arrest. The vigilante carefully examined the area as he stood atop of a building across from the club. The ponies he saw fighting the police were your standard fare out-of-town ponies out for a good time. Some were stallions and other mares. Most were earth ponies, but a few were unicorns and pegasi. They all shared the same common denominator. Every last one of them was able to withstand magic stun shots, or bucks to their stomachs and heads, and still stand on their feet. They seemed possessed of a supernatural amount of strength and stamina that was unseen in normal pony folk before. Curiosity got the best of her as he noticed that the pegasi unicorns, despite their inherent abilities of magic and flight, resorted to simply charge and attack their opponents as if they were a mad lust for physical combat, using their wings as large hands or horns as sharp bayonets. This was not good. She knew these mad ponies were slowly taking advantage of the police officers, showing signs of fatigue and injury. Unless they received backup, they would be gravely wounded or worse. It was time to act. Her sharp gaze noticed a point a few feet below her. Crazy pony stallion was standing over a dazed officer, Gold Whistler, who was on the ground trying to get his bearing once more. The stallion reared up, trying to slam his front hose on the ground at the young officer, possibly injure him critically. Mare-Do-Well prepared her legs, and jumped off and made a beeline for the attacker. She spun around in midair and extended her hind legs out in a torpedo strike that connected with the lawbreaker's head, and a loud crack sent him flying to the side of the closed wall from the impact. The vigilante went to check on Gold Whistler as she helped him get back on his hooves. "Young officer, are you all right?" she asked him. The airflying officer breathed in and out multiple times, finally looked at his saver.
I am, thanks to you, but I...
He took a step back in surprise.
Mare-Do-Well, you're back, and you can finally talk?
He shook his head.
Who cares about that? The important thing is you're here. Look, we need your help. We had to subdue all these rowdy villains and restore order before it gets out of hand.
Looked at the officers around him, doing their best at subduing the unruly herd.
If we don't stop them right here and now, they can go on stampede, and Ponyville will be in serious trouble.
Mare-Do-Well didn't need to be told twice and nodded. "This is what I'm here for. Too long I've been away. The ponies of Ponyville need me. I'm here. I'll help in any way I can."
Just what we want here, and... Gold Whistler gasped, "Look out!"
Her tail suddenly began to twitch madly within the bodysuit. The shout and warning were more than enough to let her know to dodge hard to the side. A powerful double slam of front hose came down from above her head, crushed the ground she was just on. That was close. She turned around to face who was full of stuff to try and attack her. Her eyes opened wide in surprise. The same buck she had just torpedo kicked was not just already up and moving.
but now stared at her with murder in his bloodshot eyes. She then saw the blast of hot hair from his furrowed nostrils, and thick foam coming out of his clenched teeth. Her eyes were quickly scoured the rest of the rocket's patrons, and they too had the same telltale signs as the stallion she was fighting. Were these symptoms of their lust for battle? Just what had happened to them? Halt! Do not make me hurt you. Stand your ground, or else I shall be forced to. She didn't have time to finish when the stallion charged at her with an enraged neigh. She dodged his attack, but leapfrogging over him, the second before he could hit her. The maddened horse turned around, just to see a powerful mule kick squarely in the jaw. Mare-Do-Well's eyes opened wide, seeing him strike off a blow that would incapacitate any other pony. She quickly regained composure, and struck once more with another bucking kick, once to the face, then another to the stomach, which finally succeeded, making the stallion cough up a small brown spittle, crash down to the floor. Soon more of the crazed-looking ponies began to converge on her, and Vigilante prepared herself for the onslaught as she held her ground. The horde approached her as he could feel their intent to destroy, shooting out their reddened eyes as more foam came from between their teeth. She lowered her head to prepare for the first opponent. I fear no pony. Come at me! The herd stopped in their tracks as their eyes ceased from scowling to wide opening as they slowly took the trembling steps backward. They quickly dispersed, leaving Mare-Do-Well relieved. Sure, she was fully healed after the lengthy hospital visit, but it was better to avoid fighting an entire mob. Good. Now maybe the officers will. Yeah! The herd didn't run away for a reason. Or perhaps not. Thundering hoofsteps began to approach by the sound of tremors, getting closer and closer, with each stump coming from behind. Turning around, Mare-Do-Well stood face to face with a muscle-bound white stallion with his dirty blonde mane cut short into a buzz cut, foaming teeth clenched into a snarl. Everything about his physique screamed enormity. His legs, his chest, neck, the veins popping out everywhere. His wings. No, not his wings. As they were the size of a newborn's like pound cakes. Even so, the stallion was nothing to laugh at. Of all the ponies she could fight, Bulk Biceps was not the one she was ever looking forward to. She moaned under her breath. This will hurt. The titanic Pegasus pawed to the ground, turned straight at her like an incoming train. Mare-Do-Well immediately moved to the side to easily dislodge him, or so she thought. She did an incredible double-take as she saw Bulk charge in the direction of his charge by using the musical-like wings as rudders as zeroed in on her. Mother of Celeste! She didn't have a chance as he sent her flying and landed a few feet away from tremendous force. Now since the time Rainbow Dash bowled over the elements during their attempt to get rid of the sleeping dragon some time ago, was she stopped so high in the air. Fortunately, the barding padded into her body softened most of the impact. She had to rethink her strategy, and fast before Bulk trampled her into a pony pancake. The muscle-bound Bulk charged at her once more, making the heroine weave to the side just before the tiny wing riders changed the angle of their biceps as charge. This time she waited until he was close enough, and leaped into the air. She managed to avoid not just getting run over, but also latched onto his back. He neighed loudly as he felt her presence on the back of his neck, began to wildly buck and jump around, trying to get her off. Mare-Do-Well hung on to dire life, but her ride ended abruptly as Bulk managed to send her out sailing off his back, landing hard on the ground below. Again, the barding saved her once more, but she knew it wasn't going to hold out for much longer. Mare-Do-Well quickly stood up and looked back to where Bulk Biceps stood once more, preparing for another bull-like charge. Frustration began to build up on her. There was no way she could stop him once, so she had to fully subdue his rage. But how? Every time she tried to dodge, he simply held in on her using his wings to change direction. Her eyes lit up as she finally came up with a plan. It was worth a shot, she thought to herself. Anything is better than being plowed over. The second Bulk charged again. She reached into her utility belt and took out a couple of smoke balls. The last two she had inside her secret chamber. She cursed herself for not getting a fresh supply of anything for Zecora after the whole incident with Calbalis. But now she only had one shot. She hoped for the best. Bulk Biceps charged at her once more, but this time she didn't dodge. Just a few seconds from the impact, she threw the smoke pellets away and rolled away. The tiny spear struck the battle-frenzied Pegasus right in the face, biting him under a cloud of smoke. He sputtered and coughed. Bulk had no time to use his wings to maneuver around. Smashed his head against the body and side of the club, shook the building and nearby ground. Mare-Do-Well turned her face to foe, who managed to get dislodged from the wall, but was still in a daze for the smoke blinding him and the impact with the wall. Now was her chance. She galloped to the woozy Pegasus, planted her forehooves firmly on the ground, and twisted the back of her body in a circle to give him a double roundhouse kick, using both hind legs. She followed that up by once again standing against her hind legs and started to strike the beefy horse's face and jaw with a constant flurry of rapid hoof jabs. She didn't know how many she landed as she lost count around the 50th strike. By now, Bulk's entire face and snout were swollen with black and blue bruises, but he was still standing by the sheer will of whatever drove his battle rage. It was time for her final blow. She took a few steps back and galloped straight towards the large equine form, jumping up into the air and landing directly on his thick back. From there, she used him as a stepping stone to leap towards the wall. She performed an amazing triangle jump as soon as she touched the hard stone surface, and leapt even higher in the air. She stared down and saw Bulk biceps bob his head from side to side as he tried to regain his bearings. The moves he was going to pull off was risky, but more than enough to knock out a behemoth like him. She performed a couple of somersaults and rolls in the air, tucked her legs in tightly, and targeted his head. Closing her eyes, she braced herself. Smash! Mare-Do-Well connected the cannonball dive perfectly on the dazed Bulk's skull as he bounced off the enormous noggin, and landed safely on the ground. The Brian Stallion's eyes started to circle around their sockets as he began to tear from side to side. Vigilante swore she could actually see tiny stars circling his head. Yeah! Bulk managed to moan out as he finally fell to the floor, causing a slight tremor from the impact. His eyes then finally closed, and he stood still. Mare-Do-Well took some deep breaths as she got up, and snorted a small pain across her muscles after being thrown around like a rag doll. But after landing her rump right on his head, she turned to face the rest of the scene, and was pleased that the police finally took care of the rest of the crazed patrons. The police cars were finally able to arrive to take the rowdy mob to the station and be booked. It took the effort of 3 unicorn officers to blend their respective magic fields, levitate Bulk biceps from the ground, and place him in the cart with the other unconscious patrons.
What in the name of Celestia saved you in here?
That was a voice Mare-Do-Well couldn't forget, no matter how much she wanted. Turning her, she saw Captain Halbert gallop up towards the crime scene, with the sycophantic locked up and locked down at each side with him, with Lieutenant Buckler and the other officers keeping pace behind.
And here I thought the bothersome vigilante finally took a hint and left my fair jurisdiction.
He stared at her.
My, Halbert dear. I didn't know you cared so much about me. I'm touched.
Mare-Do-Well cooed back, as she posed seductively with her eye gazing up from beneath her hat. Halbert, his lackey Buckler, and the officers took a step back in shock at finally hearing her talk. The brief second confusion soon passed, as the stern officer regained his bearings.
So, you finally have the nerve to talk back to a superior officer? I should have you arrested for assault, he snapped.
Oh, don't get your horn in a knot, my dear officer. I was just about to leave.
She chuckled softly as she turned around and walked away.
Don't you turn your back on me, you delinquent. I will arrest you for interference with police business.
Mare-Do-Well stopped and merely blew him a kiss.
See you on our next date. I'll be.
The green unicorn's face turned red, as the unicorn began to smoke while he growled. But the vigilante didn't see this. Instead, she jumped off the side of the police cart, landing on a pile of unconscious felons lying on top, then jumped towards the closed awning, and using his momentum to bounce up to the roof. She stopped to look down at all the officers below, giving them a hoof wave as she left the scene. As he jumped from rooftop to rooftop, she was ecstatic. At long last, she was vaguely able to tell that stuck-up stuffed shirt he couldn't do a thing. However, she knew she had to keep it to a minimum. That vision she had back at the party still weighed heavily. Would he really unmask her and reveal the pink party pony inside? She had to be careful from now on. At an alley close to the club, a lone figure stood there watching her leave the scene. The sallow equine form of silence stared at her for several seconds until she left its line of sight. The police was nearby. It was time for the figure to also make a mistake. Things were just beginning. The Legend of Mare-Do-Well trots along.
The end. You know, this might be incomplete. As it says on FimFic, I feel like this is like a graphic novel. You know, that this collects the first 12 issues of a ongoing series. Or collects the only 12 issues of a comic book that has long since went out of print. Kind of like Firestorm. Yeah, I know I mentioned that but before, but it's kind of true. That Firestorm, there had been a Firestorm series that lasted only 12 issues when it got started, done by Jerry Connolly. And it's just sad too, because it was very good. That's what I felt like with this. But how does it hold up? Is it any good? Well, I think you should figure it out by now. It's pretty dang good. At least in my opinion. Not to say that I don't have some problems. Well, I do like the trauma and the sadness that Gummy's death has affected on our fair little Picamina. I kind of wish that Gummy showed up more in the story so we could better appreciate just how much Gummy means to her. I mean, yeah, we know that Gummy is important to Pinkie as a pet, and we also know that Pinkie Pie is not exactly a girl to hold back her emotions. I mean, Applejack or Rainbow Applejack loses Winona, she'd be sad for a while, but she would get over it. Dash would be really, really sad over Tank's death, but she would get over it. Pinkie is a being of emotion. And to lose somebody like that would really hurt her. But while we may know that, I kind of wish there was more to show just how much Gummy meant to her. Meant to her as a little bitty pet. Also, I really got to complain about the grammar. I don't know. It's not the paragraphs. Those are perfect. Not the dialogue. That's perfect. Not even the pacing. That's perfect. I really hate the use of mares and fillies instead of mares. Because every time I read the words, the little fillies, or the group of fillies, or the fillies, or the fillies, all I can imagine is that this was not a story about the main six being adults and kicking butt taking names. Instead, I was thinking that the main six are now little girls about the age of the CNC. Which, of course, would do so much hectic with the timeline, it ain't even funny. Although, the idea of a bunch of cute little main six members trying to be heroic is just too adorable in my head to not think of.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Mare-Do-Well. Books! I want to read. Yay, fishing! Woo!
I digress, though. Also, there's a part of me that, jokingly, mind you, does have a complaint about saying something that only mares and stallions should be doing. What about two stallions who like each other very, very, very much? Or what about two mares? That's why I had to change the dialogue to two ponies who love each other very, very, very much, rather than saying that other one, because the other one has some unfortunate implications when you say it out loud, especially in today's climate. Everything else about this story is pretty dang good. The other main six are in character. Fluttershy isn't being too much of a coward. Her fears actually are very relatable. It makes sense. And the superhero action was really well done. As a matter of fact, I think I should add another scene. Buckler, what about escalation?
Escalation?
We start buying Kevlar. They buy armor piercing rounds. We buy semi-automatics. They buy automatics. And you're running around in a mask, jumping on rooftops. Now take this stallion. A taste for the theatrical, like you. He's a calling card.
I'll look into it.
I never said thank you.
You'll never have to.
For those of you who love Batman Begins and think I just ruined that scene for you, you're welcome. The superhero action in this really reminds us to why we love superheroes. Well done superhero tales and not overly dark and gritty ones. Hell, we need the element of hope. We need to be reminded that there are people out there who are willing to do things because it's the right thing to do. But those are just a few reasons why I love this story. But there's a bigger reason. As I said before, I needed to read this because of Pinkie Pie. our little puffy pink mare pony of excitement. Because I was feeling kind of down about the last few fics I've been reading. In that Pinkie hadn't had much screen time or presence in any of these stories since Heartwarming Evil. And even then, I don't remember her having that gigantic of a presence. Most of the time, she just showed up, did her little random bit, or been silly. And while that is her as the element of laughter, I feel like these fics, even the great one like Empty Room, seem to have just wanted to regulate Pinkie to the lull random. Remember with Luffy's Adventures in Equestria, one of the things that I was miffed most about was we didn't get enough Luffy interacting with Pinkamene and Diane Pie. There wasn't enough Luffy having fun with her. And that's what I felt like from a lot of the stories. That Pinkie was just pushed along the side of the corner and the authors were going, alright Pinkie, you just sit there and get ready to come out and be silly.
And Pinkie's like, okay.
Because he would say that he likes being silly. But I felt like these stories, when they did that, were too busy focusing on the little random side to forget who Pinkie is as a character. See, you might notice that sometimes in my stories, I don't always have Pinkie being insane or silly or breaking the fourth wall every 5 minutes. That's because I know if I let loose with Pinkie Pie, I will go insane. Because that's who she is. Pinkie Pie gives me the freedom to do what I want. To be silly and have fun. And while that's one of the main reasons I love her, there's also a bit of something more to her than that. Something that a lot of authors seem to forget, but the best ones do remember. Silver Quill put it best. Pinkie is allowed to cry. Pinkie is allowed to feel sad and to cry at the bad times, or when she feels like her emotions been hurt, or she failed somebody, or her friends aren't getting along with her big sister. She's allowed to cry, and she's allowed to feel that emotional about something. And right now, my little Pinkie figure is right now depressed. But when you move on from... But certain writers just tend to forget that. They tend to forget that Pinkie is allowed to cry. And when I write Pinkie, I remember that, and I do try to keep that balance. Because, well, it's great to write Pinkie as the silly, fun little gal who'll pop out of a cake out of nowhere and go,
surprise! It's a surprise hug, because you're looking depressed. Hugs.
It's easy to just leave her on that and just turn her into Deadpool the Second. But, need I remind you, one of the things that we love about Deadpool isn't just that he breaks the fourth wall every 5 minutes or is insane. It's the fact that he also does have a strong character. That he does have thoughts and feelings. And the same can be said of Pinkie. So when I see writers just going for low random Pinkie, I feel like that puts her in one-dimensional. And that's what I get afraid of doing. And that's something I hope that on Fall of Starfleet I've done pretty well, is keep the balance between the Pinkie Pie being excited and happy, while at the same time still showing that she's feeling regret, depression, and sadness over the death of Twilight. And that's what this fic does pretty well. That's why I read this fic. Because I felt like this fic shows Pinkie at her best, remembering all the sides in a mare. From her silliness and having fun and making other ponies laugh through a party, which I love that the story actually goes, you know, Pinkie is a party planner. That means that that's part of her job and she loves doing it. So let's look at the other types of parties she can throw. From graduation parties to bachelor parties to full shatters to all that. and all of the air of fun and happiness you can expect from the primo party player in Ponyville, who even has her own song for it. Down to feeling sad when losing somebody or feeling like she has failed hard. And yeah, while the fic does pull off the old trope of pshh, turning her to pink and bean every time she feels depressed, which doesn't always happen. I feel like this fic also illustrates Pinkie Pie being the element of hope. Yeah, I know laughter, but what is laughter but our way of expressing hope for the world? Our ways of saying, you know what, everything's gonna be fine. That's what I feel like Pinkie does. When she laughs, it makes us smile. She makes us feel like everything's gonna be fine and you can manage it.
You are gonna be A-OK. Huxies. Here, have a cupcake.
One of my favorite Pinkie and Twilight comics is, of course, the one where Twilight's on a frown mound, and she pops up and goes,
I'm a little pony, small and stout. Here is my tail and this is my snout. Now here's a cupcake, don't you doubt.
and Twilight eats a cupcake and goes, thanks, Pinkie. I feel like the comics should also add, you know how to ruin a good, bad mood. To which Pinkie would respond,
That's what I'm here for. Up, 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 up.
as for the ending of this fic, like I said, this is what I like doing when I read these incomplete fics. I like to think that I can actually give you guys my own views on what would happen next. This will probably be short because I feel like this is pretty much complete with the exception of a few things. I can imagine that later on there'd be more weapons added to Pinkie's roster. Maybe even a grappling hook to help with her agility. And maybe her vision turns out to be something she doesn't really expect. I can also imagine Calabalis as forming some sort of Sinister Six, and maybe even becoming Pinkie's arch nemesis. Maybe some other elements of the story will become entwined, like the map and so many others. Who knows? Maybe even T. Sandwich will become Pinkie's partner, or love interest and turn into her own personal Vicky Vale, Talia Kyle, or Lois Lane. Well, that was one bested, 1,000 more to go. I'd like to present to you the trailer for next time.
Upon dominating the box office, Wonder Woman was asked by a recent news reporter what she was going to do next.
Me? You're asking what I would be doing next now that I've shown how awesome a woman could be at the box office? I was thinking about heading into a fanfic. I heard that there's a certain bacon-haired woman who needs training. I'm going to offer to her.
Without any further questions, Wonder Woman, Princess of Themyscira, halted to her invisible jet and flew off into parts unknown. Where will she show up next? Who knows? But this author has details of her adventures in To Catch Her on High. Coming up next, Let Them Wonder. We'll see you there. And yes, our short fruit user really does love doing this newspaper voice. That's all for Record Rich.